News Talk 98.9, the roar of Memphis. Tool Talk Radio with Joe and Allan.
Brought to you by Squid Motors. Every vehicle you purchase from our showroom comes with a free 10-foot live squid in the trunk. Get even more than you bargained for at Squid Motors.
See, Allan, dinner and a vehicle all in one, right? That's where your mind goes with that squid.
You know, I hate to say it, but I was kind of like, calamari. Here we go.
There we go. Welcome to Tool Talk Radio, everybody. I'm Joe Thorderson with Thor's Hammer, Carpentry, and Wood Turning.
And I'm Allan Gilbreth with GeekySideTV.com.
And a big shout out to Kelly Cruz. Thank you, Kelly.
Oh,
another
gosh,
top-notch advertiser that we need. So you can call or text us at the Big M Roofing and Remodeling Hotline at 901-683-0989. Well, Allan, I don't know if this guy's going to want a free squid when he shows up, but we got Mike Serafolian coming into the show later on. He owns Tri-State Interiors. This is the biggie, Allan. The kitchen and bathroom remodel. This will test your mettle as a human being. This will test your marriage. This will test every fiber of your being. And look, remodeling your kitchen and bathroom doesn't have to be super scary or expensive. Hopefully, and so
depends on your taste.
Well, Mike's gonna help us through it. That's what he's in the trenches every day dealing with that.
Yes, he is. Bless his heart.
Later, Maximilian, our buddy behind the glass. He doesn't. We don't hear from Maximilian enough. He wants to weigh in, Allan. I guess you stopped by his house the other day. He thought he had some sort of tragedy. Like he thought he was, having to get a new appliance, and you showed him a very simple idea. Or a simple way to fix it. So
yeah,
we thought
he was rolling up in there with a backhoe. He was getting serious.
Yeah, so we thought there's a lot of times around your home, people, where you have a problem that seems like it's going to be major, and it may turn out to be a real simple fix. So we're gonna calm the troubled waters with that. Allan, we've got some must-have viewing / shameless promotion by me that's coming up later. I didn't warn you about this, so and we never got to our must-have item of the week last week, so we're gonna revisit this. I brought it into the studio, and it's actually already posted on the Facebook page. And, of course, we'd love for you to join us on the Facebook page. Go to Tool Talk Radio and join the fun over there. Send us comments and give us a follow. So it's all coming at you today on Tool Talk Radio. But before we get to any of that...
And now, Tool Talk Radio's weekly salute.
I love that guy. I don't know who he is, but comets are breathtaking celestial phenomena that most of us would be thrilled to witness. In the year 1665, however, the residents of London were not at all happy to witness the comet that was hanging over their city night after night. Superstition ran deep in those days, and many commoners thought the comet was a bad omen. Allan, you were born under a comet, weren't you?
No, I am. I'm not going to say what you want.
And their fears were soon justified. In September of the following year, a great fire devastated the city of London, causing huge property losses of business, churches, and homes. And it should be noted, here comes the segue, Allan, and it should be noted that homes in those days had roofs made of thatch, which were highly flammable and helped spread the fire quickly. Yes, throughout history, thatched roofs were a cause of many problems. In addition to being flammable, they were also prone to leaks, bug infestation, and mildew. And so mankind's quest for a better roofing material continued. As the centuries rolled on, roof designers continued to develop new materials to protect us from the ravages of nature, always with an eye towards comfort and safety. Finally, in the early 1920s, a lightweight, waterproof, and fire-resistant roofing material was developed that was so effective and popular that the majority of all homes use this great invention even today. My friends, we give you the asphalt shingle.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I'm sure Jay Hill with Big M Roofing is listening up here. So.
He could probably weigh in and go, yeah, let me tell you what we've done now.
Oh, yeah. Allan, one thing we pride ourselves here on at Tool Talk Radio is making people... There's so many things in our modern life we take for granted, and we just sort of assume they've been there forever. Really, they're fairly new in terms of our history. But the asphalt shingle, that was a biggie, right?
Well, I mean, let's jump back to dear Benjamin Franklin for just a second.
Okay.
All right, to give you guys an idea how flammable of cut shingles, woodcut shingles, cedar shingles, planking, and thatch was. When Ben Franklin made one simple invention, and he got billed as the man who tamed God.
Oh, I know exactly what you're talking about.
He invented the lightning rod.
So instead of the lightning hitting your chimney,
instead of the lightning
roof,
hitting your house and sending you up like a giant match,
right,
it would strike the pole and go into the ground.
Right.
That is how serious a house fire has always been considered.
Absolutely. So
yeah, anything that took, piles of flammable material off your roof.
Right. Yeah.
Was a great invention.
Yeah, and there was all sorts of, let's be honest, there were so many different roofing systems, and depending on what part of the world you lived in. But what makes this asphalt, what do they got in there that makes it so revolutionary?
Well, we got to go back to about the 1850s when we started dealing with a lot of coal tar.
Okay.
Coal became a predominant fuel source, so the byproducts of tar were out there, and a coal tar soaked rag would repel water.
Well, and you put the gravel in there.
Exactly.
And then what's also great about the asphalt shingle is as it warms up, it sort of melts
Glues
together
to
and
one.
forms
Yes.
like a solid unit. And it's held up today, and it's stood the test of time. So
and today's with the fiberglass inserts and backing, very hard to burn, very hard to tear up, last 20, 30, 40 years. Of amazing product.
Absolutely. So hats off once again to the asphalt shingle. Well, you're listening to Tool Talk Radio, coming to you from News Talk 98.9, The Roar of Memphis. We're going to mix things up, Allan. We're going to take a break, and when we come back, we're going to bring our must-have item of the week.
Tool Talk Radio with Joe and Allan. News Talk 98.9, The Roar of Memphis.
And welcome back to Tool Talk Radio, coming to you from the Brown Refrigeration Studios. I'm Joe Thorderson with Thor's Hammer, Carpentry, and Wood Turning, here with my buddy Allan Gilbert from Geeky Side TV. You can call or text us at the Big M Roofing and Remodeling Hotline at 901-683-0989, or you can interact with us on our Facebook page. Just go to Tool Talk Radio on Facebook and give us a like, of course. Share it with your friends and send us interesting stories and interesting home improvement adventures and whatever else,
We love pictures. We like triumphs and tragedies.
Yeah, or videos if they're tasteful people. Yeah. So, hey, Allan, we're mixing it up a little because last week we got so engrossed with our guests from Whitekert Realtors that we never got to our must-have item of the week. So I'm holding this up, and people, if you go to our Tool Talk Radio Facebook page, you'll already see it. I actually posted it last week. But, Allan, tell people what I'm holding up here.
A small little disc with a lot of wire sticking out of it.
Yeah, don't use this to shave. Don't try to. don't. But it's a wire wheel, I guess.
Yep, yes, your infamous wire wheel,
folks. If you've ever seen a wire brush, usually used for like scraping rust or heavy duty. This is serious stuff. This will hurt your skin if you rub it against there. But this is a cylindrical, or I guess it's round. You basically stick it into a drill and you spin it, and boy, this baby can do some. It can strip some stuff.
Paint, varnish, rust, anything softer than those wire bristles is going to get it's going to get a good scratching.
Yeah. So. It's great. It does work good on metal, Allan. Like especially if you've got some rust. Like if you're going to paint some metal, let's suppose you've got like a wrought iron fence or something, and there's all these patches of rust, and they're in hard to reach areas. You whip this baby out, and it'll take it down to the surface, and then
it'll get your work surface nice and clean and ready to go.
Yeah. Have you ever hurt yourself with one of these?
I accidentally nipped the back of my own hand in a tight area.
Okay.
And it'll light you up pretty quick if you're not careful.
As long as we're confessing here, Allan, I had one of these in a drill, and I can't even remember. But folks, this just goes to show you got to pay attention and wait till the thing stops spinning. Because I had one of these in a drill, and I kind of put it down by my, I was letting my arm rest, and it brushed against my pants.
Ooh.
And it
let's
say
this,
the
right in it.
The wheel won.
That was called ventilation.
Yeah. These things will do the job, but they're pretty inexpensive, Alan. I think I spent about $15 on this one, maybe. I don't even know.
Well,
they're not very expensive.
They
will wear out, though.
Well, this is one of those inventions that came along as soon as we got the idea that stuff can go round.
Yeah.
When we got that foot pedal on the table where something could spin, now suddenly you could put a little more speed and oomph behind something. And I've got a project at home where I found an old tool at a job site. It's been in the dirt for probably 40, 50 years. I will be using one of those in about 4 hours to start knocking the major crud off of it and see what I got.
Huh. Alan, one thing here on Tool Talk, Alan always makes me think about stuff. And now that you mention it, I didn't mean to go off on a tangent about this, Alan, but when we were kids, I don't remember the drill being the versatile item that it is today. For example, like you go to the big box store and you go to the section, there's a drill on one side of the aisle and on the other side is all the things you can put in the drill.
Oh, yeah.
And it's rows of this stuff. It's drill bits, it's screwdriver attachments, it's this wire wheel, it's everything. And I'm like, it's kind of neat how versatile it is these days.
The first time I saw somebody use a drill to make braided wire, I lost my mind.
Okay. That's a little tricky because you know what's happening next. They're going to use somebody's hair. Like, hey, let's braid your hair with this thing.
Well, they're not going to use our hair.
Okay, well. But it is highly versatile, pretty awesome invention. So,
it's just as people have moved, again, it's the simplest idea sometimes.
Absolutely.
And everybody goes, I wonder if I could do this too.
Oh, yeah.
And the next thing you know, you go in the big box store and there's 47 new devices that will all connect to the one thing. And, it is very convenient because now, a very small bag of tools will replace what I had 40 years ago, which was a very large truck full of tools.
Absolutely. So, yeah. And not to beat this into the ground, Alan, if I could make one other little minor salute here, in the evolution of the hand drill, it's the quick release chuck. In the old days they had what I don't even know if a person today would know what a chuck key is. You had to, you know what I mean, Alan? Because when we were kids, you had a little device. It was called a chuck key, and you had to stick it in there and unscrew whatever was in there. Now you just grab it and.
Well, I actually had somebody hand me one of those on an old job site and goes, what the heck is this?
There you go.
And I started dying laughing. I was like, oh, no, I'll keep that. Don't worry, it's mine.
Right. Yeah.
So
absolutely. Yeah. The drill, probably the most versatile tool in our collection, I'm thinking.
Easily. I have at least 3 in my truck at any given time.
Absolutely. So, all right, Alan, I'm throwing an audible at you. I've got something to discuss with you in a minute. But before I do, I just want to remind people, it's pretty hot out today. I think
it's been a little warm all week.
Muggy.
Yeah. Oof.
Lots of humidity in the air. You need somebody, if you've got any problems with your HVAC, or if you've got any issues with the clean air in your home. Maybe the air is not as fresh as it could be. Maybe you've got teenagers. Or maybe you need a smart home system. Well, whatever you need, Brown Refrigeration can handle it all. Larry Brown, what a great dude. Larry's just a good guy. And him and his wife, they're just nice people. But they're all business. They take care of business over there.
Well, the biggest thing is he really knows his business. He started with a wrench just like everybody else.
And he's passionate about
it.
I don't know that I could be as passionate about an air conditioner 24 hours a day, Alan. I have varied interests, but he's laser focused. This is what he does.
This is what he does.
So if you have any HVAC needs, we highly recommend him. Alan and I have sent Brown Refrigeration countless referrals. I
got Larry on speed dial.
They got a great staff. And you know what else? They got an easy-to-remember phone number and website. You can get in touch with them at 901-362-1881 or go to their easy-to-remember website, brownref.com. Okay, Alan, so here's what I was going to let you know. Now, this is a man you and I have spoke to. I'm going to my first knock on wood. We're going to see what COVID does to us. But on September 10th, I'm going to my first ever Club 400 fundraiser event.
Ooh.
And the reason I mention this, folks, Alan and I have spoke to this guy. There's a man named Stu McVicker, and he has created the ultimate Cubs man cave. It's really not correct to say it. He's got a 23 100 square foot, whatever.
Now, he built a micro club
in his basement.
Yes.
That's basically spilled out to it's spilled out into the backyard. And basically, this is the ultimate Cubs man cave. It's probably got, a $250,000 worth of collectibles in there. What he does is, it's not just a place to hang out and watch games, and it's like a sports bar. It's really cool.
It's a micro club.
It was featured, folks. You might want to check this out. It was featured on a show on Netflix called Amazing Interiors, and I think it was the first episode. And if you go to it, I think he's the second home featured, and it's I think it was just called the Ultimate Cubs Man Cave. You can't miss it. It's a really fun segment. It's about 15 minutes. A great show.
So what you're trying to say is you're looking for some Cardinal fans to step up.
Oh yeah, but all fans are welcome. So here's what he did, Allan. So and we've gotten to know Stu and become friends with Stu. I talk to him regularly. So he's having a fun. What he does is he doesn't just have this cool place. He uses it to raise money. They've already raised almost $500,000.
Right.
And so what they do is they invite one, like a Cubs player.
Right.
Like they've had Javier Baez there. They've had Anthony
Everybody.
Rizzo.
Yeah.
And so basically for a fee of, it's like $150, $150 to $200. You go there, all drinks and dinner are included. It's a party, and you get to meet these Cub players in a setting that is, a lot nicer, because you're not going to be like one of 5,000 people trying to get somebody's autograph. You actually have a chance
You're
to
going
talk
to be
to
one
them.
of 100 people hanging around in here, chit-chatting.
And you're surrounded by fellow Cubs fans. But honestly, there's people from every team. All teams are welcome, and it raises money. So this year, his fundraiser is going to be on September 10th, and Ryan Dempster is going to be – he's a former pitcher from the Cubs, but – the thing that's interesting about him, Allan, he has this show called Off the Mound. He's like a Johnny Carson. He's like a stand-up comedian. He has a TV show that's similar to the Tonight Show, only it's all about baseball. It's really funny. So I'm going to get to meet Ryan Dempster. So, anyway, but it's a fundraiser for a little boy named Riker. And I want to find out if he was named after Riker from Star Trek. Riker's like 4 years old. He's got some problems with, he's got like muscular dystrophy. He's got some serious medical problems. It's making it tough on the family.
Okay,
so it's going to be a blast. But the thing is,
it's a worthy cause.
The reason I'm bringing it up on Tool Talk Radio is I'm going to make a field report out of this, because building a 2,300 square foot man cave in your basement, there's all sorts of home improvement challenges.
There's a commitment there.
Yeah.
Yes.
Larry Brown, I'm looking at you on this, because I'm just thinking of the air quality, keeping it hot or cold. When you've got 200 people down there partying, that's got to be a challenge, right?
Yeah, that's when you discover the Matrix was right. Human beings put off a lot of heat.
Yeah. So when I get there, I'm going to be, everybody's going to be filming Ryan Dempster and all this. I'm going to be going out back looking at the HVAC
You're going to be
units,
tapping on the mount.
Right.
You're going to be looking at the cove bays,
looking at the concrete out by the walls, looking at the insulation and all that. So I'll report back, Allan, and see see what's going on. But
see
I
what
can't
it
wait.
takes.
Yeah. Hopefully, I mean, there may be a mask thing up there by then. I don't know, but it's gonna be cool. And I wanted to mention that because it is. We always have recommended viewing here on Tool Talk, and beyond Stu's basement, I definitely recommend Amazing Interiors on Netflix. It's a super interesting show. It's got a lot of out of the box thinking, which is something we always salute here on Tool Talk Radio. So, all right, Allan, you're listening to Tool Talk Radio here on News Talk 98.9, The Roar of Memphis. We're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, Maximilian wants to weigh in. Allan. He wants to ask you about the sewer smell coming out of his dishwasher.
Tool Talk Radio with Joe and Allan.
I wonder if they're fraternal or identical tools.
News Talk 98.9, The Roar of Memphis.
And welcome back to Tool Talk Radio, coming to you from the Brown Refrigeration Studios. I'm Joe Thorderson with Thor's Hammer, Carpentry and Wood Turning, here with my buddy Allan Gilbert from Geeky Side TV and our great producer Maximilian behind the glass. You can call or text us at the Big M Roofing and Remodeling Hotline at 901-683-0989. And, of course, we invite you to go over to the Tool Talk Radio Facebook page and give us a like and check out what's going on over there. Send us videos. Send us your tragic stories of home improvements gone wrong.
Tragedies and triumphs.
Yeah, we want both, but let's face it, Alan.
Yeah, well,
Some are more entertaining than the other. Well, Alan, this is sort of a peek behind the curtain. I guess you stopped by Maximilian's house the other day.
I did.
Max, we want you to weigh in. So tell us what's going on, man.
Well, recently I've been having a real problem with my with my dishwasher. For some reason, there's been like an awful smell coming from it. I didn't know whether or not I had to like replace the thing, but Alan came over and he said, "Oh, it's just a simple fix. You just got to pour some water down the bottom of the system."
Okay. Well, tell us what was going on, Alan. So it's like a sewagey smell, right? Like, well, it's that smell you get like if you ever take if you're replacing the toilet or replacing a sink and you smell those sewery fumes coming out, right, Max? That was it?
Yeah, that's exactly right.
Okay. So what was going on there?
well, basically he had a dry line.
Okay.
And we've talked about P-traps and things like that. The one thing most people don't realize with the dishwasher is that it's actually kind of a funny thing. I get a complaint periodically that I don't think my dishwasher works because there's still water in the bottom of it.
Oh.
People, they think,
like,
they
it's
think
supposed to be completely dry.
It's supposed to pump all the water out. And it's like, no, there actually should be a cup or two of water in the bottom of the dishwasher. It's already pre-primed and ready to go for the next round, but it's a seal.
Right.
Like we've talked about
like
with the P-traps, right? Yeah. That little U-bend in there. That little tiny bit of water actually performs a huge function. It separates air.
Sure.
Now, most dishwashers in the Mid-South are installed into the backside of your garbage disposal.
Mm-hmm.
So you have a little disposal vent, underneath the sink, the little guy that grinds up your stuff. And a couple of quick words. If you put a bunch of stuff down that, you also need to leave the water running behind it, even though it's done grinding it up.
Yeah, let's talk about that because I'm looking at Max behind the curtain. Because Max, you and I have discussed this. Sometimes you're guilty of a few things to do with the garbage disposal, right?
Yes, I'm also very overzealous about when with the water situation in the dishwasher, I keep hitting drain the water because I think there's not supposed to be water down there too.
No,
right.
Well, again, it's just
it makes sense that you're thinking there shouldn't be any water in there.
Right. Well, it pumped it all out. I heard the water go sloshing through the sink. Why is there still water in it?
Right.
Now, I don't mean there's 2 or 3 inches of water in the bottom of it, but I mean there's a little bit of water around the bottom of the trap. Now, because it's connected to the garbage disposal, that can create a vacuum.
Well, I wanted to talk about that because I don't know that we ever discussed this, Alan, but the garbage disposal is intimately linked with your dishwasher most of the time, right?
Because the exit hose goes into the input on the backside of the garbage disposal.
So if your garbage disposal is packed with lettuce and kale and bits of carrots, Max, I'm looking at you on that. He's told me stories. He puts it in there and forgets about it, and then wonders why fruit flies are breeding down there.
Well, yeah.
But that's blocking the exit for the dishwasher.
You could conceivably, yes. And you could also back flush things into the dishwasher from there.
Right.
So when you clear the you've hit the little switch and the disposer comes on and it begins all of its grinding. Keep in mind, all of that ground up stuff is now pushing down into your pipes.
Yeah, so because for all you young homeowners out there, or for all you kids that are listening right now, you run the water, then you run the garbage disposal, and then when you turn the garbage disposal off and let it run another 5 seconds or so to let the water flush the remnants and kind of fill up, maybe even more.
I would say anywhere from 5 to 30 seconds.
Really, that much?
But it depends on what you put down it. Because
you got to flush that stuff through.
Well, I'm going to pick on 2 of my favorite topics.
Okay.
That would be pumpkins and rice.
Max, I was waiting for him to make a Halloween reference. It's now August, so for Allan, Halloween season's already begun.
Halloween is so begun.
Okay,
but it is harvest season,
mm-hmm.
So there's a lot of squashes coming in. People have discovered like butternut squash and acorn squash and these things, and a lot of people peel them.
Yeah.
And they try to put the peels down the disposal, and the next thing you know, we're getting a phone call that my drainage line to my sink is blocked up.
Oh, yeah.
Well, we get there, we pull everything out from underneath your sink, we open up the clean out, and guess what we find? a completely solid blockage of your scrapings from the carrots, from the squash, from the pumpkin, from, these things are durable.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. No,
they don't go down easy.
No, that's, and so there you go, though. Max, you probably thought you had to get a new dishwasher or something, and suddenly all you need to do is add a cup of water.
And two other little things. I think you have a little tool tip going around about don't flush grease down your drains.
Yeah.
I'm also going to throw in, don't throw a lot of rice down your drains.
Or pasta.
Because rice and pasta love to expand. Mm-hmm. And they will be more than happy to puff up and give you a nice soft clog.
Yeah. So you feel like so you saved Max, $700 or $800 or whatever a new dishwasher costs.
Yeah. He was watching me do this, right? The look on his face was priceless. When I look at it and I hum and I hum and I stand up and I take his water glass and just chuck it in the dishwasher and get another glass of water, chuck it in the dishwasher, and I go, all right, you're fixed.
You should have tortured him a little longer. You should have said, sorry, Max, let you pull the console off and take it apart and go,
I could have said
done
something
the Scotty
like,
method.
The tachyon converter wasn't moving the water properly or something. But.
Yeah. Well, Max, you had a problem with your refrigerator as well, right? You want to tell us about that?
Yeah, I'm not quite sure. Like, it's just been, really terrible. Like, it's been not blowing out enough cool air and everything. The fridge has just not been, it's just when I go out to get some my almond milk or whatever, I just can't it just always seems to be just so tepid. And then Allan, of course, says it's a simple fix
about it. Right.
So Allan, once again, you bailed him out, right?
Vacuum cleaner.
Okay. Talk to me. I know the answer, but tell us what you're talking about here.
In the human home, let's discuss the fact.
The human home, because you deal with all sorts, Allan. We don't
you saying I'm not human?
The reptile home.
I'm accusing you of being human.
Okay.
In the human home, of the number one production of stuff you don't want is the human.
Okay.
AKA hair.
I resent that.
Skin cells. In your case, a lot of skin cells.
Yeah.
You're not producing that much hair anymore, Joe.
Okay.
However, I look at Max and I go, we got a fair amount of hair.
Full head of hair.
Full, luxurious, hair. Of all of that stuff goes somewhere. Yeah. Now, back in the, 60s and 70s, it was the screen of the television. Mm-hmm. You had to clean those things.
Oh, that's right, the static electricity.
Remember that static, man? Every bit of cat hair, dog hair, anything in the house stuck to it. Mm-hmm. Well, we don't have TVs that do that anymore. So it finds other places to accumulate.
Sure.
Like the coils of anything that moves air. Well, there's a little fan back there that keeps that compressor cool. You hear it kick on. Well, when you pull out a refrigerant unit, and you need to do this about once a year, at least once every other year.
Well, even maybe every 6 months, depending on if you have pets
upon pets and the number of things in the house. And this is not a serious thing, but taking just the extension hose on the vacuum cleaner and getting the fur dust bunnies and stuff off of that drastically changes the airflow capability of that cooling unit to exchange heat.
Yeah, I mean, it's fun, and that's something everybody should know. You're thinking, why is the milk not cold? Why is the orange juice, and why is the freezer not doing its job? Well, it might be the simple fix of, vacuuming the coils. Well, you should do it anyway.
Well, it's like changing out your filters on your air conditioning.
Right.
Okay, guys. Well, you've been pounding that air conditioning pretty good the last couple of months. Guess what? By the end of August, it's probably time to change that filter.
Yeah. So once again, simple fixes for seemingly large
Very
problems.
Inexpensive, but they can save you a lot of money.
Speaking of saving you a lot of money, Allan, how do you like that?
I like that one. Yeah.
You may need a new roof on your home.
Oh.
It may be time to replace that roof. Wouldn't it be nice if you knew whether or not you have a homeowner's claim? Because a lot of people do, but they might not know that. So the people to call, for one thing, they do top-notch work. Call Jay Hill at Big M Roofing. They are a GAF Master Elite contractor. These roofing systems, Allan, are unbelievable. They come with lifetime transferable warranties, which I've never heard of that with a roofing system. That's pretty unbelievable. But also they're 5-star rated with the Better Business Bureau. They've got the Good Housekeeping Award. But Jay knows whether he was a former insurance agent. Now he's a contractor, and he knows his stuff. So get in touch with the good people at Big M Roofing and Remodeling. You can get in touch on the web, bigmroofingandremodeling.com, or call Jay directly at 901-484-5645. You're listening to Tool Talk Radio here on News Talk 98.9, The Roar of Memphis. We're going to take a quick break, and we'll be right back.
Tool Talk Radio with Joe and Allan.
I'm describing a person, not something complicated like a wooden sailing ship or proper dovetail technique.
News Talk 98.9, The Roar of Memphis.
And welcome back to Tool Talk Radio, coming to you from the Brown Refrigeration Studio. Words of wisdom from the great Ron Swanson.
All right.
I'm Joe Thorderson with Doris Hammer, Carpentry and Wood Turning, here with my buddy Allan Gilbert from Geeky Side TV and our pal Maximilian behind the glass. You can call or text us at the Big M Roofing and Remodeling hotline at 901-683-0989, or go to the Tool Talk Radio Facebook page, give us a like, and get in touch with us there and interact and share the Tool Talk experience with everybody you know. So, hey, before the break, Allan, I want to we got a little tight on time. I was highlighting the great work that the good people at Big M Roofing and Remodeling do, and just in case you missed it, we want to make sure you know how to get in touch with them. Just go to bigmroofingandremodeling.com or call Jay directly. You want to call Jay because he's funny. You know?
Well, yeah, he is a trip.
Call him at 901-484-5645, or you can call the office. You know, you can always get in touch over there at 901-379-8184. All right, so Allan, we're introducing a new segment here. For lack of it, we're going to just, why don't we just call this, We Can Laugh About It Now. This is your Tool Talk Radio safety PSAs here. We've been there, Allan.
How
many times,
times
as a contractor has your life flashed before your eyes? I'm thinking of some of your electrical stories you've told me, and involving loose wires and aluminum ladders, learning that they actually do conduct electricity.
Oh, they do. They do very well. You know, and almost all of my stories, you know, all involve that well-meaning assistant.
Yeah.
You know,
well,
here, let me help. No, really. I got it.
Well, we feel like some of these stories, it behooves us to not only, you know, to just basically look into our past history. It's always good to be honest and to purge a little bit and to just give stories that, hey, we live to tell about them, and maybe we want to make sure you don't have to go through this. So.
No, well, that's true.
Allan, I want to tell our listeners about one event I had. This was probably 15 years ago. Now, in shop class, and big shout out to my shop teacher from high school, Mr. Davitt. He was great. He taught woodworking. He knew his stuff. He taught me woodworking for 3 years. We took auto shop from Mr. Davitt. He's a great dude. I think he's retired now.
One would hope.
Yeah. But Mr. Davitt told us when we were going to because it's time we would build projects in our wood shop, and we had a booth for finishing the furniture, and it was like dust free. And it kind of smelled weird, and you could even spray things, and you could finish the furniture. It had a chemically smell because that's where you stained everything.
Right.
And he told us and he showed us this bin in the corner, and it was like a steel bucket that's where you threw all the rags at. He goes, It's very important to keep the rags in an airtight, sealed thing because they can just start on fire. Which we all kind of looked at each other like, yeah, right.
Yeah, sure.
And he's like, oh, yeah,
do.
if you have a pile of oily rags, they can just spontaneously combust. And I guess in theory they could, but we never really believed it. Well, I'll tell you what, Allan, I believed it years later. When I was refinishing some outside furniture for a customer, and it was very dried out. It was fully exposed to the sun, and it was kind of, So I put on some boiled linseed oil, and about boiled linseed oil, right?
We've met.
So picture this: it's a 90-degree day, and I'm basically and it looks great. I'm rubbing on boiled linseed oil, but I've got a pile of rags because you can't, as you're putting it on, you're also pulling off dust and dirt, and you don't want to just keep using the same rag.
The rag gets progressively worse.
So I threw it into a pile. Now, in the back of my mind, I remembered what Mr. Davitt told me. So I threw it onto, they had like sort of this gravel, like they had this sort of gravel area. So I didn't just throw it onto the grass or whatever, because I didn't want to kill the grass either. So I threw it onto this pile of gravel, and lo and behold, I suddenly smell this smoky smell behind me. And sure enough, Mr. Davitt was right. This pile of rags of boiled linseed oil started on fire.
Yes,
it smoked, and then a little flame. Luckily, I got it put out. I grabbed the garden hose. It wasn't the end of the world. It smelled pretty bad.
Yeah,
I didn't like the smell, but Allan, that could have been ugly. What if I was working somewhere? What if I just threw the rag somewhere in like my wood shop and went off and got lunch? It could have been tragic.
Then your man shed would have been toast.
Yeah, we can laugh about it now, Allan. But But I was also curious. Can you tell us why this happens? Because you're the scientist. Why would a pile of rags just start on fire? What is the science behind this?
Welcome to the wonderful world of oxidation.
Talk to me.
Okay. All right. Everybody is familiar with rust.
Yeah.
All right. That is nice, slow, calm, happy oxidation.
Your metal slowly deteriorates.
There's a chemical process in which we're adding oxygen, and it is slowly rusting.
Okay.
All right. Let's begin to accelerate that time frame. So now we're going to take something nice and porous, like, cotton.
Yeah.
And now we're going to start adding stuff to that. Let's stay with linseed oil for the fun of it.
Right.
Which is only massively flammable. So,
I never tried to light linseed oil on fire, but I'm guessing
it will burn in an oil lamp just fine.
Sure.
Yeah, it is an oil.
Right.
It is going to react. And now you have applied, lots of friction. Rubbing and doing all this kind of stuff. Well, at this point, you have begun the oxidation of that linseed oil. And it's going to continue to react with the fibers and the oxygen. And when you begin piling them up, now you're concentrating the vapors.
Okay, because Allan, I'm looking at you on this one too, and I've kept careful notes because I'm thinking this furniture that I was refinishing, I want to say it was that teak. Teak is a good outside wood.
It's beautiful,
and
hard
when
wood.
you put that oil in, boy, does the grain pop out.
Yep.
But a listener is probably yelling at the radio right now saying, well, why doesn't the furniture burst into flames? Why is it this pile of rags bursting into flames?
That is because of the wicking effect of the wood.
Okay.
You're not concentrating anything. Everything is
allowed
dissipating.
to evaporate.
It's evaporating. There's plenty of oxygen, and the wood itself is drawing it in down through the pores.
Okay.
But what you have over here, though, is you've already started a reaction in the rag by the actions you've taken, and now we're concentrating them. We're putting a little weight on them. You probably had nice little sunshine working on it, warming those rags up.
That's what my other question is. What if it was 30 degrees out? Would that
probably wouldn't have gone?
Okay, so the heat, everything combined.
You have what's called that perfect storm.
Right.
And I'll give you an even better example. For people that like mops, old-fashioned mops, not a lot of them left anymore, but there are a few folks out there. Don't ever put a mop head in a dryer.
Oh, okay. I think I can guess.
Because you're now going to superheat that wiring that holds all those cotton fibers together, and it can and will spontaneously combust.
Is anybody doing that? I mean, I can't.
I've seen it happen. I have had to yank a flaming mop head out of a dryer.
I'm just picturing the mop, the strings and stuff getting caught in the barrel. Like
I know it wasn't the best of ideas, and a little common sense applied means, go hang this thing up. But you don't know. This is one of these amazing things where if you know, it's common sense. If you don't know, you just don't know.
Who would think of that?
This was a problem with early in the pandemic, was stacking too many glove boxes on top of each other.
Oh, okay. What happens with that?
Well, the cardboard begins to crush eventually, and now the pressure being applied to the latex gloves that can also spark a spontaneous flame.
Really?
Yes.
I never heard that one.
So these are little things that would probably never happen in normal circumstances, but because
That
we
perfect
stacked
storm.
so much of it on top of each other in just the right place at just the right time, it can happen.
Wow. Okay. So, yeah, it's interesting. So people, if you're dealing, I'm assuming there's other chemicals that will do this, right, Alan? I mean, what are some other
Thousands.
household? So I will confess.
Any solvent. Anything that has, I'm going to put the air bunnies up and go, that smell.
Yeah.
If it has got a really strong odor,
Yeah.
chances are it can probably, it'll have a side effect you don't want if you make a big pile of it and just leave it alone.
Okay, because that's my next thing, Alan. Because I'm gonna admit there's a reason there's two hosts on this show, and there's a reason we have guest experts that come on the show. Because I don't pretend that I know everything, and I know you probably do know everything, Alan. But anyway, okay. So what I've been doing these days, whenever I'm working with a stain or any oil-based product like boiled linseed oil, if I have a bunch of rags these days, what I will do is I'll get the rags and then I saturate them maybe with a garden hose and then I lay them out to let them evaporate and then I throw them away. What do you think of that? Or is that?
Just having we all have that extra 5-gallon bucket lying around doing what we do.
Right.
You put a little water in the bottom of it, you chuck the rag in there, and it gets wet.
Right. Okay.
And so the onus is now off of you.
Okay.
And just little things. Now, if you want to try to wash the rags out or dry them out and reuse them, that's up to you. A lot of the harsher chemicals we use, you should be wearing gloves.
Yeah. I do when it's necessary.
Well, as a cautionary tale for our listeners, A, you should be wearing gloves. B, you've probably destroyed that piece of rag.
I toss them because
let
people,
that
you're not
t-shirt
going to
go.
You're not going to get. That's why you use. And by the way, t-shirt material is some of the best material for wood.
Oh my
finishing.
gosh, yeah. T-shirts make amazing staining cloths and everything like that.
But t-shirts have, some of them may have polyester, which can react to chemicals and they can melt and get funky. So yeah, no, you're going to throw it out. But I just want to be environmentally conscious, and make sure that these things aren't going to reignite when they're in my garbage can.
No. The biggest thing is once the chemical smell has cleared, you're generally pretty good.
Okay. All right. Awesome. So, but that's my tales of woe. But I think, Alan, this is something that's probably going to become an ongoing segment. Our Tool Talk Radio safety segments, we can laugh about it now.
Yeah,
I guess.
a lot. I can think of about 40 years worth of stories already. So
ladders that weren't set properly. There's all sorts of
the fact that hammers bounce.
Yeah. Oh yeah, and they can skid off of things. So yeah. Gosh, you're really making me think about some old war stories, Alan. Well, speaking of war stories, you're listening to Tool Talk Radio, coming to you from News Talk 98.9, The Roar of Memphis. We're going to take a quick break, Alan. When we come back, talk about a battle zone. We're going to talk about kitchen and bathroom remodels.
Oh, yeah.
What that does to your psyche, and we've got an expert coming on, Mike Serafolian with Tri-State Interiors, and it's going to be exciting. We'll see you right then.
News Talk 98.9, The Roar of Memphis. Tool Talk Radio with Joe and Allan.
And welcome to Hour 2 of Tool Talk Radio, coming to you from the Brown Refrigeration Studios. I'm Joe Thorderson with Thor's Hammer, Carpentry, and Wood Turning, here with my buddy Allan Gilbert from Geeky Side TV, and behind the glass, our pal Maximilian, taking care of business and actually bringing up some pretty good stuff earlier in the show, talking about refrigerator coils, talking about a sewage smell coming out of his dishwasher. He thought he was going to be spending hundreds or maybe thousands of dollars in repairs or getting a new appliance. And Alan, you saved the day with basically free repairs.
It's gonna cost him a meal in here somewhere.
Yeah, you owe him a steak dinner, Max. So, but if you missed any of our any of the show, never fear. Alan will be posting the shows shortly. Once we are off the air, they're saved for the ages, people.
Indeed.
And also, we remind you, if you want to get over to our Facebook page, check out everything we post. We've got the must-have item of the week, but we want what you want to, we want to see what you're up to. So send us messages, send us pictures, send us videos of all your home improvement trials and travails. So speaking of trials and travails, Alan, shortly we're going to have our buddy Mike Serafolian in from Tri-State Interiors, because this is the biggie. The kitchen and bathroom remodel is the... I mean, that'll test your mettle, but honestly, it's also the best way to improve. It's the best way to improve the value of your home, especially a correctly done kitchen remodel.
Well, they are the focal points of the home.
Right.
A bedroom is a bedroom. And that can be nice, don't get me wrong, but a
bedroom's a blank canvas.
Yeah, a bedroom is a big rectangular or square box, and it's got another little box attached to it for a closet. Mm-hmm. And you're about done. It's not a utilitarian area.
Yeah.
Now if you've got a workshop, that's a utilitarian area. It's really designed for a function.
Right.
Now, when we say that, I'm going to take those words utilitarian function, and I'm going to apply that to bathrooms and kitchens.
Well, they're functional, and they got to be decorative too, Alan.
Well,
so they're
and
both.
That's the whole secret. But number one, they must be functional.
Right.
Because, man, are there some house designs out there that are dysfunctional.
Yeah, absolutely.
And, sometimes you can get a really good deal on a house. And you see this on TV all the time. The homeowner walks in and they go, yeah, we can get this house really cheap. And I mean, first words out of their mouths are, oh no, we got to redo the kitchen and the bathroom. We got to redo those.
Yeah.
1962 called and wants its bathroom back.
Right.
So
yeah.
You kind of, and this is where we're going to bring up one of our old standards and go admit your lifestyle. Before you do this, you got a house full of kids?
Yeah.
Or are you empty nesters? Do you entertain a lot? What is the function and purpose of these rooms?
Well, there's a lot of other factors too, because it's like how much, you say, are you empty nesters? Well, being an empty nester also means you might not be in this house. You may have more house than you need, so you may be moving in a few years.
Exactly.
So you got to think about what is the next person gonna think of all this. So,
I walked in one house one time and they had just said, well, you're around all of this in the business, so come by the house and figure out why it's not selling.
Right.
Now, this was 10 years ago. And you walked in, and as you literally walked in, here was her doll collection. Thousands of dolls down the entryway hallway. So as you opened the door, you had about 50 sets of eyes staring at you.
All right, Alan, is this the Twilight Zone? That's what that's.
Oh,
I know you travel in weird circles, Alan.
But you needed theme music when this door opened. You needed Rod Serling going, and welcome to this house.
Yeah.
And you're kind of like, well, I might have an idea why nobody's buying your house. You're freaking them out when they come in the door.
All right, this sounds like a staging situation. This is where we got to talk to our buddies at Whitecurt Realtor.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
But this was just the hallway.
Yeah.
And then you got to the bathroom, and there's like the scene from King Kong on the shower curtain and the weird potted. There were so many plants in this bathroom. You expected to hear tropical frogs at any moment.
For those who don't know, by the way, Alan does, we don't talk about this much, but Alan, you write books about vampires and monsters and ghosts and things like that. And
I do TV shows
it's becoming
about
very
them.
evident because people are like, why is Alan going to places like this? And to me, it makes perfect sense, but I just feel like I need to remind everybody.
This was just like somebody goes, come in and look at the house. And you walk in and you go, oh, I see some of the problems.
Okay.
The average home buyer is looking for their bathroom, not your bathroom.
Okay, awesome. So that's the kind of stuff you can look forward to in our discussion when Mike Serafolian shows up. This is gonna be interesting. Speaking of interesting, Alan, before we go to break, what's going on with Geeky Side TV this week?
Well, we've got a variety of shows out there, and I'm gonna bring up Under Review.
Okay.
A very humorous look at Will getting kidnapped by a mad scientist and made to watch bad movies.
It sounds a lot like a Mystery Science Theater.
It sounds
3000.
amazingly like that.
Are they going to get sued? I
No,
mean, that sounds
no, it's a little different.
okay.
But
There's no
it is-
robots involved with this. So.
No, just some stuffed toys that talk.
Okay. All right. Well, there's a lot of weird content on there. A lot of interesting content.
Oh,
And
yeah.
it's a surprise in every click. So how do people check out Geeky Side
All
TV?
they need to do is go to geekysidetv.com, or they can find us on Roku, Fire Stick, and Apple TV.
And if you're a weird content creator and you want to become famous, Allan will hook you up. Get in
I
touch
might
with
need to talk to you.
him. All right. Well, we need to talk to you, but not right now because we're going to break. You're listening to Tool Talk Radio here on News Talk 98.9 The Roar Memphis. We're going to take a quick break and come back and talk a little bit more about kitchen and bathroom remodeling.
Tool Talk Radio with Joe and Allan.
I made my first chair when I was 5, but the quality of the wood was wanting.
News Talk 98.9, the roar of Memphis.
And welcome back to Tool Talk Radio, coming to you from the Brown Refrigeration Studios. I'm Joe Thorderson with Thor's Hammer, Carpentry and Wood Turning, here with my buddy Allan Gilbert from Geeky Side TV. You can call or text us at the Big M Roofing and Remodeling Hotline at 901-683-0989, or go to the Tool Talk Radio Facebook page and give us a like. Check us out over there. So, speaking of Ron Swanson coming in, well, there's no end to the words of wisdom he can offer. And I will say this: Nick Offerman, who plays Ron Swanson, is a legit woodworker.
Yeah,
he doesn't just play one on TV. He really is. If you want to see something interesting, go to his. There's videos. He's got his own wood shop. It's pretty impressive. He's got a whole entourage of woodworkers, and they make things. You can actually buy a table made by Nick Offerman. I don't know what they cost. They're probably not cheap, but
I would imagine not.
yeah, or a boat. Like I mean, he makes stuff. I mean,
Well, I some of the best furniture I've ever seen that came out of a handmade shop was from Jimmy Carter.
oh, he works with his hands.
Oh
yeah.
my gosh, such beautiful furniture that man could create.
Speaking of woodworking, Allan, I want to make sure people know we have not forgotten our lumber updates. And just my anecdotal reporting, the lumber prices continue to go down. Thank goodness. I'm building a patio cover right now, Allan, and I was just pleased to see that even plywood is coming down, because we talked about that a few weeks ago, how plywood, it's processed obviously different, and you're dealing with maybe 4 or 5 different, different manufacturers or different components, because there's gluing, there's processing. So everything's coming down, thank goodness.
Well, and I actually did a little quick check last night on pressure treated lumber.
Right.
One of the projects I'm working on, I need quite a bit. And thank goodness the suppliers on that are getting caught up on their orders.
Right. Yeah. So it's good.
It's about
news.
a 90-day cycle, people. So if you need something right now and it's not really available, take a deep breath. Give yourself about a month or two. Chances are it is cycling back up as everybody gets caught up to us.
Wait, cycling back up? What do you mean? I thought we wanted to go down.
Well, I mean, the actual production is cycling back up. Logistics, the stuff's getting delivered. So,
yeah,
you got to look at everything we do, especially in the lumber industry and all that. You're looking at about a 90-day cycle from, okay, here are the trees that we're ready to get.
Yeah.
And, by the time it shows up at your lumber yard, it can be anywhere from a couple of days to, in like the case of pressure treated lumber or any specialty lumber, your plywoods and that kind of stuff, it could be up to 90 days later.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. So, but thank goodness it is making its way back down. But hopefully, hopefully, like you said, the forest fires, these hurricanes, all these things, we just got to keep an eye on
like,
it.
okay, everybody settle down for a little bit. We'll be all right,
But by the way, and if you do need a deck or a pergola or a patio cover or a fence or really anything made out of wood for the outside of your home, give me a call at 901-921-7105 or visit our easy to remember website, thorshomes.com. And I also want to remind people, because shortly we're going to bring one of our new team members, Mike Serafolian, in from Tri-State Interiors. We're looking to assemble, like we said, the Justice League of Home Improvement. So basically, we want to get experts in all fields of home improvement to become a regular part of Tool Talk Radio. Allan is Cyborg. because we're doing the Justice League. I called Batman. I called dibs on that. We're calling Weichert Realtors, since they're quick, easy, and fun. They're the Flash. I've decided Maximilian is going to be Aquaman, because he's behind the glass. He's sort of in his own world.
We kind of have him in the aquarium over there.
Yeah, I work in a fishbowl.
He's in a fishbowl, so you're Aquaman. So if you want to jump in, Larry Brown's Superman.
Oh, definitely.
Mike Serafolian hasn't claimed anything yet. I don't know what he wants.
I don't know. We'll figure it out.
We'll
I'm
figure it
looking
out.
at him through the glass over there.
But if you think you have what it takes to join our list of experts in the Justice League of Home Improvement, give me a call directly at 901-921-7105. So, well, Allan, one more piece of business before we visit with our friend Mike. We were talking earlier about simple fixes that can seem daunting,
right?
But they're a simple fix, such as you were talking about keeping water in the pipes so that you don't get a sewer smell coming out of your dishwasher. I had another one on the list here. So you may have, you're like, where did that leak come from? Why is water rushing down the inside of my sheetrock? Well, you might have dirty gutters, right, Allan?
They can back up very easily, and that water is going to go someplace.
Right, gutters. We've said, and I've had my words about gutters, and it's not that I'm anti-gutter. It's more that I'm don't put gutters up and just think that they're going to take care of themselves.
Yeah, no.
They are a maintenance. They're an ongoing.
They're an ongoing project. Another one is, I always love, for people that had a lot of children and stuff, the downstairs shower.
Right.
It gets forgotten after a while, and then, you walk downstairs and you got that funny smell. Guys, just turn the water back on, flush the toilet, run the sink, and make sure that you've got, make sure that those little water traps actually have water in them.
Right.
And that will save you a lot of strange odors.
Right.
Another one I like to throw out there is if you are seeing an unusual amount of critters getting in your house,
right,
it might be time to check those door seals.
Oh, talk to me. Yeah.
Well, this time of year, everybody's kind of like, oh my God, my house got crickets, or heaven help, I saw a spider, or something like that. And, it's as simple as, a little bit of foam stripping,
right,
may be missing or torn off, or the dog got hold of it. But now you've got a gap that the outside world can see you through.
Yeah.
And the little guys outside, we're almost to fall. They're ready to start moving back in with us.
I'm ashamed to say, Allan, one time in my kitchen, it was raining really, really hard. And we had a couple of worms crawl in under the door. What's up with that? So
that's if you leave it open, they're going to come in and visit with you.
Okay. Well, speaking of worms coming in the door, no, that's not a segue at all. I'm kidding, Mike. So.
Well,
you can't waste good material.
Yeah,
well, our buddy Mike Serafolian finally got here. I guess you were stuck in traffic, sir.
Yeah.
So
welcome to Memphis.
Okay, but anyway, hey, Mike, you run Tri-State Interiors. We met you back at the home show of the Mid-South back in April. But we got to talking, and I feel like you and I are kindred spirits in a sense, because I feel like we share a similar business philosophy. So. We're going to talk about Tri-State Interiors and about kitchen and bathroom remodeling. And what I mean by that is, Allan, my focus with my customers is on craftsmanship, right? Well, I want to provide them with the best craftsmanship possible, but also because I keep my overhead low, they save a lot of money. I'm just going to be honest, when they work with me. And when we got talking to Mike, it sounds like a similar situation, right? So
yeah, we don't cut corners quality-wise. Right. We just do what we can to keep the overhead down and pass that savings along to our customers. For example, one big question that I get asked at the home show is, well, where's your showroom?
Right.
Well, we don't necessarily have a showroom. There's a warehouse that we can take you to, and you pick out your granite for your countertops, your quartz for your kitchen and bathroom countertops. But as far as a central office location with a big grandiose showroom, we don't have that. And it's what a lot of people don't understand is if I spend $100,000 on a showroom, and have all these kitchen mock-ups and, make it look really nice, I have to pay for that somehow. And so, it ends up being the customer that pays for that.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I think there's a sort of, that's the philosophy I like. That's just sound business, Alan. I mean, keeping your overhead low.
For a lot of the commercial stuff I do, you can't have a showroom for a lot of the stuff I do. So, I agree completely. The big thing is of being able to work with your client and get their image or what they think they need.
Yeah, their vision.
Right.
Yeah.
What is that end product supposed to look like?
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah.
And that's and one thing that we do offer is, we have software that, say Joe calls me and Mike, I want a kitchen remodel. So I go out and I take measurements and we talk to, him and his wife about what they want, and they, say they have pictures from, Google or Instagram or whatever. I can go back and I can put, I can build that kitchen in this CAD program and put Joe in the kitchen so he can see a 360.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I knew there's a lot of software out there. I didn't know I could get immersed in it.
Yeah,
That's cool.
It's a 360 degree, rendering. You can look up, down, all the way around.
Yeah, I mean, and that's the stuff to focus on, Alan. And let's face it, these days, technology is making things cheaper and more efficient in a lot of ways. But yeah, you still have to be a craftsman in this, and so that's your focus, right? So I mean,
exactly.
Okay, so those are the kind of things we're going to unpack. And let's face it, Mike, one of the things too we wanted to talk to you about, we here at Tool Talk Radio believe that our years of working in home improvement and, there's emotions involved. A kitchen remodel will test a family. They will test a couple. And so you probably got some stories. But so you got to be a specific personality to get into this game. And it goes beyond just knowing how to install cabinets and countertops.
Yeah. You got to have some referee skills.
Yeah. Absolutely. So speaking of skills in refereeing violence, you're listening to Tool Talk Radio, coming to you from News Talk 98.9 The Roar, Memphis. We're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we're going to continue to talk to our buddy Mike Serafolian from Tri-State Interiors.
Tool Talk Radio with Joe and Allan.
Salt water will warp the wood, so keep your tears in your eyes where they belong.
News Talk 98.9, The Roar of Memphis.
Yeah, Alan, quit crying over there. And welcome back to Tool Talk Radio, coming to you from the Brown Refrigeration Studios. I'm Joe Thorderson with Thor's Hammer, Carpentry, and Wood Turning, here with my buddy Alan Gilbert from Geeky Side TV and our pal Mike Serafolian from Tri-State Interiors. You can call or text us at the Big M Roofing and Remodeling Hotline at 901-683-0989. Or, of course, you can go to the Tool Talk Radio Facebook page and give us a like, share our page, right, Alan? Tell everybody about Tool Talk and send us your pictures, videos, stories of home improvements either gone wrong or gone right, or your favorite tools. We have segments here called Tool Tales. We all get attached to our tools.
Oh, I tell you what, I love discovering antique tools.
Oh, they're fun. Yeah.
So if you got that little pile out there left over from grandma, grandpa out there, snap a picture. Those are great.
Yeah. Anyway, so so Mike, we've been talking, because you deal with kitchen and bathroom remodeling, and but Tri-State Interiors deals with you can do the high-end kitchen remodels or maybe lesser expensive treatments. Sometimes people just need an upgrade. So you deal with all budgets. But what I was going to say is, these days if you go to get an estimate, let's just suppose you want your kitchen remodeled. I mean, if you call 3 or 4 companies, the difference in price can be thousands or even tens of thousands of dollars of difference. So, let's talk about that. So, yeah.
I mean, I was talking to somebody 2 days ago, and they said, that they have knowledge of another kitchen remodeling contractor, and he said, with their showroom, and all the overhead that they have.
Yeah.
He said, you go in there, you're spending at least $40,000.
Right.
And so what we do is we try to keep down on that overhead. We don't have a big fancy showroom. That's not to say that you can't see everything, because there are other showrooms that I can take you throughout the city that you can go pick out anything that you need or anything that you
flooring.
want.
You go to the flooring stores, you go to the cabinet stores, you go to
Well, one thing that we do is we buy direct from the manufacturer as often as we possibly can. So say you want a tile floor, I'm not going to take you to the tile store. We're going to go to the manufacturer's showroom down on Shelby Drive, and you're going to see everything that they have in their catalog, and you can pick it out from them. And then it cuts out that markup and that overhead from the middleman of the tile store, the flooring store, whatever.
I think too, Allan, with online shopping and I think people are more hip to this stuff these days. They're like, why don't I just get this directly from? Because a lot of times you can order a T-shirt, you can order your books. I ordered a Cubs jersey the other day, Allan. I got a $150 Cubs jersey for $29. But we'll talk about that again. But I think, Mike, people are probably more receptive to this notion these days, right? Because why spend thousands and thousands of dollars more for that markup?
Okay, so this is where I look at everybody and go, here's my favorite question. So we're in the business, right? So what is the one thing you wish people had the best knowledge of or really had a grip on before they called you?
Budget.
Okay.
I'm going to leap on that and go, amen. Do not be afraid of telling your contractor what the budget is.
Exactly.
Well, and I don't know about you, Mike, but these days that's pretty much the first conversation I have, because, like, for example, if I'm building a patio cover or a screened-in porch for somebody, I want to make sure that we're on the same page as far as that goes. And then once they say this is sort of the budget, I don't want to exceed this, then it's like, okay, well, now we can talk about all the options we can do, right?
Yeah, exactly. And
you don't waste their time. So.
Yeah, and it's just good information to have for the reason. And I want to say, I don't lead with how much do you want to spend. That's not my first question.
Right.
But it's just good information to have, because for example, if we're talking about countertops, the pricing varies greatly dependent on the material.
Mm-hmm.
And I would hate to show somebody, this high-end quartz, slab that they absolutely love, and then, like we were talking about during the break,
oh yeah,
what they wanted to spend on the whole remodel is the price of doing those countertops in that high-end quartz.
Yeah, and a kitchen and bathroom remodel too. There's so many moving pieces, because you might take them to the warehouse, or you might take them to the manufacturer, and you're looking at two pieces of flooring or two countertop material side by side, and you're like, why is this one twice as much as the other one? Like, you need to walk them through that. And some people may want to, okay, we're going to go a little heavier. We're going to lean heavier on our cabinets, and we're going to downplay maybe these other features, because there's just so many moving parts.
Yeah, when you're working with the budget, I can say, okay, here's where we are. Here's where I think we can skim some off, and but when you're working with the budget, you can sit down and you can go, okay, let's prioritize what we absolutely want.
Yeah, that's where, really understanding the final goal of the remodel.
Yeah.
And a lot of people are like, well, I just want it to look better, or it just needs to be updated. That's not a final goal. No. A final goal is, do you entertain? How many people are cooking in this kitchen? How many people live in this house? How big a refrigerator are we going to need? There's just so many things. And obviously, Joe's about to laugh and go, well, Alan's very food oriented.
Oh, no. Alan,
But,
the kitchen remodel is near and dear to Alan's heart.
Oh,
so.
it is, it can make such a difference to your home.
Well, Mike, the other thing, too, that somebody like you can provide, which is always useful, it's getting people to look at things in a new way. They may not realize, you know what, that little wall right there can be moved. You can take this wall out, and suddenly you might double your kitchen size, or by reconfiguring things, you're moving the sink over here. So that's the kind of stuff that's really useful, especially with that computer software you're talking about.
Yeah, and it's that's one of the big advantages of remodeling a kitchen or a bathroom. And I'd just like to say, if you call me and we want our house painted, we want floor done throughout, I'm not going to say no. But, kitchen and bathroom is where you get the most return on your investment. And so that's what we focus on. But with one of the advantages of doing a remodel, a kitchen or bath remodel, is the increased functionality of the kitchen and the increased, safety of the kitchen, more efficient, movement through the kitchen, being, allowing for more efficient movement throughout the kitchen when you're working in there. And Alan, to your point, you got to really take into consideration, what do you use this kitchen for? If you don't cook and you just want a nice looking show kitchen, you're probably fine putting in marble. But if you are in there and you have 3 kids, a dog, a cat,
Right.
and you're cooking every single day, don't do marble.
Right.
Well, but see, that's the kind of knowledge and that sort of expertise you need through there. And honestly, the other thing, Mike, like I said, I feel like you and I have a very similar business philosophy in the way we operate. And I've heard from my customers that they enjoy the fact that the project might evolve as we go, and they like the fact that they're dealing directly with me because I'm the one actually installing this, and I'm actually getting my hands dirty. We've seen you come into the radio station in your work clothes, and you're out there, in the trenches doing this. So
Exactly.
I think people appreciate that. Hey, we haven't told people how to get in touch with Tri-State Interiors. How do they do that?
They can go to our website, www.tristateinteriors, that's plural with an S, LLC.com.
Okay.
Or they can request an estimate on there. There's, pictures, so they can get ideas or see previous work that we've done. Or they can email me, Mike at tristateinteriorsllc.com, or they can call 901-409-1333.
Absolutely. So yeah, and like we say, you deal with all types, and the kitchen remodel is a big deal, Alan. So we and a bathroom remodel, depending on the situation. But I'd say the kitchen is ground zero because most people only have one kitchen. And we're going to talk.
When we come back, we're going to talk about that era of time where houses, for some reason, builders didn't believe in bathrooms and kitchens.
Yeah.
It was scary. There's a whole era.
Well, we believe in them today. You're listening to Tool Talk Radio, coming to you from News Talk 98.9, The Roar of Memphis. We're going to take a quick break, and we're going to talk more about kitchen and bathroom adventures.
Tool Talk Radio with Joe and Allan.
There's something occluding your ear.
It's sawdust. Just blow.
News Talk 98.9, The Roar of Memphis.
And welcome back to Tool Talk Radio, coming to you from the Brown Refrigeration Studios. I'm Joe Thorderson with Thor's Hammer, Carpentry, and Wood Turning. Here with my buddy Allan Gilbert from Geeky Side TV, who definitely has a lot of sawdust in his ears, and our pal Mike Sarafolian from Tri-State Interiors. You can reach us if you give us a quick call at the Big M Roofing and Remodeling Hotline at 901-683-0989, or go to the Tool Talk Radio Facebook page and give us a like. Mike, we've been talking to you about kitchen and bathroom remodeling, and we're going to jump back to that. But Allan, before we do, I would be remiss if I didn't remind people about the good, our friends over at Weichert Realtors Benchmark. Okay, they're a riot over there. It's a real estate company. You'd think it's more of like I don't know what, like they're party organizers or something. It's fun, quick, easy, and fun. That's what they go for. Why should selling your home be a nightmare or buying or selling a home? And they do it all. The great thing about them, for one thing, they've been in the business forever. Rick Bowman, he's seen it all. He's been there, done that. He can weather every storm. Kelly Cruz, she's a riot. She's over there. They got a pretty cool entourage of people, but also they can get you qualified, financed, and underwritten all in the same place. So when you go to buy or sell your home, it's a one-stop shop. It's fun, and it really smooths out the process, and they're very dynamic, out-of-the-box thinkers, which we like.
And they'll be the first ones to tell you what 2 rooms to remodel to increase the value of your home.
Absolutely.
Because as they said, you gotta win the battle these days.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. So get in touch with them, and they have a super easy-to-remember phone number. I guarantee everybody can remember this number, 901-202-2000. How much easier do you get?
It's pretty good.
Weichert Realtors Benchmark. Check them out, and you'll have fun. And when you get there, tell them you want to play a game of foosball, ping pong. I think they have one of those basketball things, too. So and a nice kitchen. Mike, I don't know, but we've been talking about kitchen and bathroom remodeling. It's a big deal. Obviously one of the goals here is it does involve a certain level of inconvenience. And when you're dealing with somebody that's actually working on the kitchen, there's a peace of mind for that. You keep your overhead low. You're actually swinging the hammer, on a lot of these things. So what sort of things do you do to kind of make it easier on people?
Well, the first thing is so we come together, okay, contract is signed, materials are ordered. We don't tear out anything until all the materials are there.
Boom. Amen, brother.
Oh,
Allan,
my gosh.
I'm not going to mention names, but I've been on jobs where they say, well, the kitchen's dismantled, and it's like, well, we're waiting on this one component. Well, why are you waiting on? Why didn't you have that ready to go? And it could be weeks of inconvenience like that.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
That's a big deal. Don't undersell that.
No, we've all heard horror stories about, this contractor came and he was going to do the kitchen remodel and he tore it out, and then, thing XYZ happened and I've been without a kitchen for 3 months.
Yeah.
I was talking to somebody yesterday and they were telling me a story about when they were a kid. Their parents wanted a kitchen remodel. It took 6 months.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I've seen that. Yeah, absolutely.
So, but other stuff that we do to limit the inconveniences, we'll hang plastic if we're doing major stuff like tearing out a fur down or something like that, and that just helps limit the amount of dust that spreads throughout the house. It's not a perfect system. There's always gonna be a little bit here and there,
right?
But
it makes a big difference, though.
Yeah, it makes a big difference. Because you start sanding drywall or mudding or whatever, and that particulate stays in the air for a while.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, and what's cool about some of these plastics, Allan, is these days they've got the nifty zipper that's on there. You tape off from floor to ceiling.
Oh, yeah.
You seal it off, and then it's like it reminds me of that movie E.T. when they had to seal off E.T. from the bear, from whatever. But that's a big deal, and I'm really zeroed in on the notion of getting everything done before you just start dismantling stuff. Mm-hmm. Because that's a big deal. That's definitely cuts down on the turnaround as well. So,
when you start looking at this, and this is going to be like, again, the expectations of meeting with the client and that type of thing, and looking at them in the eye and going, okay, are you ready for the next 6 weeks of your life?
Yeah.
Well, it's amazing. Well, we'll pick on a bathroom remodel. So let's say your house has an upstairs bathroom and a downstairs bathroom. And, well, it's time the downstairs bathroom was destroyed. We're 4 kids off to college, and, let's face it, the bathroom needs to be rescued at this point. It is shocking how little you thought about that bathroom, but now it is completely on your mind the whole time it's disassembled.
Yeah, yeah.
Because you just didn't realize how many times a day or week you might have stopped by there, or was an easy stop in that. Now you got to go all the way upstairs, and so I mean, it's just minor stuff, but it's something you got to be mentally prepared for.
Well, is that kind of what you do, Mike? Because I'm thinking, if people have information, they can prepare, right? If you say, hey, look, you're not going to be cooking for the next 3 weeks.
Yes.
They set up a little temporary kitchen maybe somewhere, right?
Yeah, I mean, Alan, I'd just like to touch on your point. Sometimes I am a part-time marriage counselor.
Oh yeah. It's more than part-time on some of these jobs.
Yeah, more than part-time occasionally. But no, most couples, most families that say, yeah, we want a kitchen remodel. There's some understanding there, and we do what we can to give them the expectation of this is our game plan. We're not going to tear out anything until we have all the materials, but for what you're wanting, this is what we're expecting.
Right.
Lengthwise, time-wise. There are hiccups in there. Say if you had plumbing moved and code enforcement can't come out for 3 days.
Yeah.
We might get
which is
behind.
Beyond your control. But yeah.
But what a lot of people do is, I've had people tell me that they're washing their plates in their bathtub and they're using the microwave and,
or they just get the disposable, plates and stuff.
So.
Yep.
Yeah, so I mean, forewarned is forearmed.
I had a customer, Mike, where they the kid, she thought this kitchen remodel was the greatest thing ever because it was like camping out every night. So if you can use child psychology to your advantage, like that, she was sort of disappointed when they went back to sitting at the dinner table. But
my mom was a psych major at U of M, and so she definitely did that stuff on me. When I was a kid, she's like, reverse psychology all the time.
Yeah,
that's how she tricked me to do it.
It makes a big difference, and so the fact that they can get in touch with you, the fact that you're on hand, the fact that you've got the materials ordered, and I want to speak about that because you told us something off the air that I thought was pretty interesting. Because there's any number of places you can get your materials, but you said sometimes you can get these all from Tennessee, right?
Yeah. So. Obviously there's manufacturers everywhere, throughout the country, internationally, but we can, if you go with the right stuff, you can potentially have a kitchen that's all made in Tennessee.
Cool.
The cabinets, come from Bulls Gap, Tennessee, over by Morristown in East Tennessee.
Mm-hmm. I've actually been there. Yeah.
Buck Snort.
No, actually, it's further. It's
north of Knoxville.
Yeah.
Okay.
But
almost North Carolina. Yeah.
But it's Dow Tile has a plant in Dixon, Tennessee, that they make tile and quartz countertops, and then Delta is up in Jackson. So that's
kind of cool. Keeping it local.
It says so much for our state.
Yeah, Tennessee is a great state. And Allan, like I said, I've lived in Southern California, Illinois. I've lived in Arizona, and I'm telling you, Tennessee is a great place to. It's a great place to live. So.
Oh yeah.
No income tax or no state tax for one thing.
Well,
no state income tax.
I'm just kind of going, all right, that's just very cool that and when we're talking about limiting your choices to just what's available, we're not really limiting them that much. These are amazing products.
Well, that's just if you want to go that route, right? I mean, you got sources everywhere, right?
Yeah, exactly. And it's you're not limiting it because these are, well-known established brands with large catalogs. Like, for example, Dow Tile. You think of a shower.
Right.
What do you think of? Cultured marble and tile.
Right.
Dow Tile makes large format porcelain tile. It's the same size as like a slab of granite. And it just goes in like a wall panel. You don't have to worry about cleaning the grout.
So nice. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
You don't have to worry about sealing grout or cleaning grout or any of that stuff.
Well, the other thing too, Mike, with a kitchen remodel these days, because I am thinking about what you guys said earlier about how in the old days, back in the 40s or 50s, you had these shotgun kitchens or something. The kitchen is much more of a show place now, and in fact, it's sort of the central hub of the house. A lot of people they've taken out walls where the kitchen is sort of connected to the den and it's connected to the dining room or something. So it's got to be kind of fun to design that stuff, especially if you're going from like an old design and suddenly you're opening this thing up and you get to be creative, right? So I mean, it's got to be an exciting point for people.
Yeah, exactly. my grandpa was an engineer.
Yeah.
He worked for a few different places around Memphis here, but I wanted to be an engineer, and it didn't really work out for me. But designing kitchens and bathrooms, it's a lot like engineering.
Yeah.
Because here's the footprint of the space of the room. Here's what the customer wants. Here's the budget. So I have the constraints and what they want, and it's okay, Mike. Figure out how this is going to work.
Yeah, it's kind of cool, and there's so many different options. There's just and I like that it involves creative thinking, and it's just and I like the fact that the homeowners have a hand in, they have a stake in it, but they also have a hand in the creative process, which is cool. So hey, Mike, but we're super happy to welcome you to the Tool Talk Radio team. And we haven't decided what character. We were going for the Justice League of Home Improvement. Allan is Cyborg. We'll have to work on yours. I don't know, maybe you can be Hawkman or something. But hey, more importantly, how do people get in touch with Tri-State Interiors? So
they can call 901-409-1333. They can email me at mike@tristateinteriors. That's plural with an S. LLC.com. Or the website is www.tristateinteriorsllc.com.
Okay.
And you can request an estimate from there, and we'll go from there.
Okay, awesome. And give them a call at 901-409-1333. Is that right? Well,
Yep.
Too late. I gave it out. So anyway, another action-packed and down-to-the-wire episode of Tool Talk Radio is in the can, but it's time to get out of here. So, Mike, it's been great having you here. So on behalf of my buddy, Allan Gilbreth, I'm Joe Thorderson here with our friend Mike Sarafolian. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you next week.